Hi, I'm Joan Shay, and I'm an instructor with iQuilt.com. I'm going to show you today how to do applique using my three-dimensional applique technique, which I call Appli-Bond. With this technique, you're able to get some wonderful dimension very easily, and it applies not only to just flowers. You can do birds and pine cones and fish, just anything that your mind can think about. So we're going to work today on this hydrangea, which is just a very simple project, but it will show you how you can use this technique. The most important thing that you need to know when you're doing this is that you have to use heat and bond. And heat and bond comes in two different weights, and it has to be the ultra hold. Otherwise, your flowers are going to look like they need to be watered. They're just going to be laying there. So we must use the heat and bond ultra hold. To do this technique, I always have 2 pieces of fabric and 1 piece of heat and bond. Heat and bond has a glue side and it has a paper side. You're going to take the wrong side of one of your pieces of fabric and you're going to put the glue side onto the fabric, matching it the best that you can. And I always protect my ironing surface because it's very common to get some glue on your surface. Then with my iron, I'm just going to tack it in place because I can now lift this up and see if I need to trim away any of the paper. It's hard to hold it up together and see if you've got them cut the exact same size. Once I have trimmed that, I can go back with my iron and bond my fabric. I bond it for 8 seconds, so basically I'm counting 8 circles. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Now you can't take the paper off when it's hot. You have to wait for it to cool. And you can tell when it gets cool because you'll hear it start to crinkle a little bit. And to take the paper off really simply, you can pick at the corner of this for a couple of hours, or you can just take a simple straight pin and score it. And once you've scored it, you can turn it back and your pieces come right off. It's really that simple to bond the piece of fabric. Once you take your paper off, you're ready to bond your second piece to it. You're going to line these pieces back up again, and again, I have to do the tacking because if I start my circles, my iron is going to go right onto that heat and bond, and it's not going to be pretty. So I just have to pick up my iron and put it down a couple of times just to tack it in place. And now it's the same thing all over again. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's really all there is to the bonding. It can't be much simpler than that. So once your fabric is bonded, you're going to take your template and put it onto the fabric. You can trace it with whatever will show. You need to be able to see a nice clear marking line. And then it's paper dolls. From that point on, all you're going to do is cut out all of your little pieces, and you're going to have all of the petals that you need in order to make this little quilt. The quilt, the petals are going to be attached by either using beads or French knots. You want to make sure that they're glass beads because we're going to be heating this to curl it. And if they're plastic beads, it's not going to be pretty. So make sure that they're glass beads. And to curl this, it's very, very simple. All you're going to do is to take your iron and heat it. And once it's warm, you just have to fluff up your petals, and it's curled. It couldn't be any easier than that. And you get a nice dimensional look for the flowers. To curl your leaves, I never attach my leaves. I put them on with a stem stitch, but I never attach it all the way down because then I'm not going to be able to curl it. I just have to heat my leaf, and once it's warm, I can put it in whatever shape I want. And as long as I hold it till it's cool, it's going to stay in that shape. You can put it in a crazy shape because what you've done is you've melted the glue. The glue is hardening, and once it's hardened, it stays in that shape. So it's just very, very simple to curl these things. And there's only one other thing I'd like you to be aware of, and that's that you have to quilt these after you make your top, just like you make any other quilt. Because if I quilted it first, like most people think I would do, all of my knots would come through my background, and I don't want that. So if you look on the back of this quilt, where their flower is, there is no quilting. My class for iQuilt will be on the bald eagle. It's a wonderful way to do birds because you get each of the individual feathers showing. I hope you'll join me in my iQuilt class and learn lots more about Appli-Bond.